History loves a highlight reel. Egypt, Rome, Greece, maybe the Vikings if we're feeling spicy. But long before textbooks picked favorites, entire civilizations rose, dominated their world, and vanished, quietly erased by time, conquest, or plain bad luck. Some of them built cities before we thought cities were possible. Some ran trade networks larger than empires. And some left behind structures that still doesn't make sense. Today on Top 8, we're pulling the camera from the usual suspects and shining a light on ancient civilizations history barely mentions, but absolutely should. Fair warning, by the time we hit number 1, you'll wonder how this isn't common knowledge. Let's get into it. At number 8, the Sogdians. If ancient history had a most influential group nobody remembers award, the Sogdians would win easily. They weren't conquerors or empire builders, they were something arguably more powerful: connectors. From around 500 BCE to 1000 CE, the Sogdians dominated Central Asian trade at the heart of the Silk Road, moving silk, spices, gold, ideas, religions, and languages. Basically the ancient internet, just slower. They spoke multiple languages, adapted to every culture, and linked China, Persia, India, and Europe. Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam spread partly through Sogdian traders. And yet, no empire, no monuments shouting their name. Just influence so massive it disappeared into everyone else's story. They didn't fall. They blended in. That might be why history forgot them. At number 7, the Norte Chico civilization. When you think of the oldest civilizations, you probably jump to Egypt or Mesopotamia. Understandable, but not quite right. The Norte Chico, in modern-day Peru, thrived around 3000 BCE, as the first Egyptian pyramids were being planned. Here's the twist. They built large cities and massive ceremonial platforms, organizing society without pottery, writing, or warfare. No weapons, no fortifications, no evidence of armies. Instead, religion, trade, and monumental public works seem to have held them together. Some pyramid-like structures rival the age of Egypt's earliest. They faded quietly, leaving ruins that look simple, until you realize how early they were. Peaceful cities before war became the default? That alone should earn them a place in history class. At number 6, the Tartessians. Some civilizations vanish. Others vanish so completely, historians aren't even sure they existed. Welcome to Tartessos. In today's southern Spain, the Tartessians prospered between about 1200 and 500 BCE. Ancient Greeks described them as legendary, wealthy, advanced, mysterious. They mastered metalworking, built vast trade links across the Mediterranean, and told stories of kings with improbably long lives. Then one day, nothing. Cities vanished. Language disappeared. Culture swallowed by time. Maybe Carthage destroyed them. Maybe environmental collapse did. There's even a fringe link to Atlantis, likely a stretch, but it shows how strange their disappearance is. At number 5, the Dilmun civilization. If ancient texts are right, Dilmun wasn't just a civilization. It was paradise. In what's now Bahrain, Dilmun appears in Sumerian myth as a pure, sacred land. Behind the legend stood a very real, very powerful trade hub. Dilmun controlled routes between Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley, the key middleman for copper, pearls, and luxury goods. They built planned cities, temples, and thousands of burial mounds that still mark the landscape. Then slowly, Dilmun faded. Trade shifted. Empires rose and fell. A place once called heaven on earth became a footnote. At number 4, the Indus Valley civilization. This one's wild. One of the largest ancient civilizations on Earth, and we still can't read their writing. At its height, it spanned parts of modern India and Pakistan, with millions living in planned cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. They had advanced drainage, standardized bricks, grid-based layouts, and indoor plumbing, thousands of years before Europe. Yet there are no clear kings, no giant ruler statues, and no deciphered texts to explain their system. They didn't burn out or fall to a conqueror, they simply dispersed. One of history's greatest civilizations, and we still don't know their story. At number 3, the Nok civilization. Long before many African kingdoms were recorded, the Nok of today's Nigeria were shaping iron and art. Dating to at least 1000 BCE, they're famed for terracotta sculptures, expressive, detailed, and strikingly modern. They may have developed ironworking independently, making them technological pioneers. Much of their history was lost to erosion, looting, and colonial neglect. Many pieces were found by chance, then sold before study. A civilization known mostly through fragments, literally and historically. At number 2, the Minoans. If the Bronze Age had a mystery thriller, the Minoans would be the lead. On Crete, they thrived from about 2600 to 1100 BCE. Colorful palaces, complex art, advanced plumbing, and a maritime network ruling the Aegean. They worshipped powerful goddesses, celebrated bull leaping, and built cities without defensive walls. They felt untouchable. Then, disaster struck. Earthquakes, eruptions, possibly invasion, maybe all three. They collapsed, leaving ruins so advanced that later Greeks credited mythic kings like Minos. And at number 1, the Göbekli Tepe builders. This one rewrites everything. Göbekli Tepe in modern Turkey dates to around 9600 BCE, over 11,000 years ago. That's before agriculture, before cities, before writing, before metal tools. Yet it features massive stone pillars in complex ceremonial circles, carved with animals and symbols, proof of planning, coordination, and serious labor. Its builders weren't supposed to exist, not on the old timeline. Even stranger, after centuries of use, they intentionally buried the site. Why build the first known monumental complex, and then hide it? We don't know who they were or what they believed. But we do know this. Civilization didn't start the way we thought. History isn't just what survived, it's what we choose to remember. For every famous empire carved into textbooks, dozens of forgotten civilizations shaped the world just as deeply, then disappeared without a headline. Want more stories history class skipped? Subscribe to Top 8.